Dr. Tice, you have something to read?
Well, I wasn't going to read it, but I was just going to point out two articles in today's paper.
Okay.
One is an editorial from the Washington Post talking, it says, hidden campaign cash. They're talking about the 501c4 social welfare agencies and the anonymous donors that poured hundreds of millions of dollars into our election, and we don't know who they are. Then the second article, shadowy donor behind record super PAC checks. These was some company that was established incorporated a month in advance that started giving money to Freedom Works. Total of over $12 million in October of the election. We don't know where that came from. Our democracy is being bought by people with lots of money. Our voices are being drowned out. These kinds of articles appear day in and day out in the paper. It's time for the American people to do
Okay, so Dr. Tice, I want you to tell me something, okay? I'll be honest with you. I'm tired of people simply saying, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is happening, this is... What the hell are we doing about it?
What are we doing about it? We're starting a North Houston Kingwood Move to Amend chapter. We're going to be trying to put on the ballot in 2014 a referendum to remove private financing from elections. When taxpayers are paying for campaigns, candidates will answer to taxpayers. When corporations and the wealthy are paying for campaigns, politicians answer to them.
Now my question to you then, does this not require an education process of the body politic of the whole citizenry? And is that going to be part of what this organization does?
Absolutely.
All right, thank you very much, Doc. Stephanie, we had a nice little conversation. Tell me a little about it.
Okay, it's a lesson I learned from my dissertation writing process. And I was finding all these documents having to do with the CIA and how they had infiltrated the foundations doing work in Latin America, the Rockefeller Foundation and the Ford Foundation. And I went to my advisor and said, look what I found. They had CIA agents working, for the foundations. He said, Stephanie, remember, that's not the big story. He said, it might be sexy and it might catch headlines, but the bigger story is what's happening in the open. That what they're doing is really not a secret. And all you have to do is look at their public statements, look at their public documents, and you really see that the larger story is what they're doing in the open that people don't pay attention to. If you don't pay attention to it, you miss the bigger picture. So that's the lesson I learned, and how it applies to today is that we really need to be wary of these conspiracy theories, and some might have some foundation in truth, but the fact is the bigger, more important issue is what they're doing in public, what they say in public, what their policies are, these public policies. If you look at that, the record is clear. There's no way that they can deny what's happening. So.
Thank you, Stephanie. That's very important. Kev, the word.
Short and sweet. December 10th is International Human Rights Day. And for, I think, the third week in a row, I'd like to point out 2millionfriends.org is an organization of people in Afghanistan and throughout the world who are calling for ceasefire in Afghanistan. They would like a UN-sponsored ceasefire. You go to 2millionfriends.org, sign the petition, and remember people in Afghanistan on December 10th. We'd like a ceasefire.
Thank you very much, Kev. Professor Davis, talk to me.
Okay, there was an article this week about Merriam-Webster's dictionary and what were the words that got the most requests for people researching the meanings and the like. And the two that led the list were capitalism and socialism. And to me, that's a very encouraging thing, because it means this campaign and some events that preceded have opened people's minds up to begin to explore in some depth what some of these concepts are, which had never really been raised these kinds of questions in the past. And I find that very hopeful, that it creates interest and it gives us a chance to educate and raise interest in certain subjects that maybe have been taboo. And the third word on the list that got a lot of attention was malarkey. And that comes from the debate, Biden, of course, at Paul Ryan, where he called him out. And I think that's great, too, because there is just a lot of crap in the system and in the political vocabulary. And so I'm glad to see those. Capitalism, socialism, malarkey is some of the words of the year, and I think we can build on that. That's my word.
Thank you very much, Professor.
You're welcome.